Hello, everyone, and welcome to In the Dugout. I'm Michael Shively, the voice of the Lincoln Saltdogs, and we're getting ready for another special edition. You can hear this on ESPN 101.5 FM, 1480 AM, and also across Saltdogs social media channels, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. Today, I'm joined by Dan Johnson. Dan, with your career, it's tough to pick a place to start in the interview, so let's just start right now. You're 3 years removed from your last big league at-bat, coming up on your 39th birthday. But you're about to hop on a bus to Gary, Indiana here soon. A lot of your contemporaries wouldn't be doing that. What's still in it for you? Why are you still going at this?
Really, it's more so about the knuckleball for me. 3 years ago, I kind of decided that I was done hitting. And the opportunity came up that, one of the organizations was like, hey, will you come out and throw a bullpen for us before spring training? Which is like, it got me going again. Got that fire relit, and I started toying with it, started having success the first year, and then getting ready for the season. Was it last year? A freak accident. I shoved a chisel into the back of my thumb somehow.
It's no good.
Yeah, I mean, self-sabotage, I guess.
Yeah.
So I had to take a different route. Like, I was out for, I think, until, April, May. I think sometime at the end of May is when I was able to start actually throwing and swinging a bat again. And the opportunity arose to go to Mexico. So I went down there, still affiliated ball, considered, AAA level. And, I had the opportunity to go down there, and I was going to use it kind of as a stepping stone, like more so like spring training type thing. And, ended up enjoying it and having a good time down there. So I ended up finishing the season there. And then to start this year, I went back down there and didn't last too long. I made it about 8 games before I tore my quad. And that was another tough one. But I continued on, and I played 3 more games. It was kind of a futile attempt at playing. But from there, then I just, I still want to get into it with the pitching, but not having any ABs since really March, it's tough without a spring training and without the preparation. So kind of getting thrown into the fire and playing a pretty good team, 9 times out of the 15 games that I had, it's kind of a grind.
Yeah, it is exactly the grind. And from watching some of the athletes that really have a lot of success late in their careers, they seem like the type that are grinders, that love the process, whether it's batting practice or throwing bullpens. They live for that every day. Is that kind of how you are? Are you a guy that loves the process and the grind?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't stick around this game this long, if you didn't enjoy it. And, a lot of things that I'm trying to learn also is the coaching side of things. Because, I feel like with as much knowledge of the game that I have now, going through just about everything you could in this game, from the highs to the lows, and getting different perspectives, and even dabbling in the head coaching job this year with the Saints, and kind of using that as like a real good learning process to learn the other side of baseball, when you actually kind of make decisions, and it's not you that is relied upon for scoring runs or winning games. It was that the fact of you helped making the pieces come together and get a winning team.
Well, you mentioned your head coaching time with St. Paul. You don't have an official title with the Saltdogs, but I've noticed you're talking to some of the younger guys. You're often conversing with the coaches and the manager. What about that do you enjoy? What about teaching the game it really appeals to you?
It's something that somebody did it for me in the past, and all my knowledge that I've gained has all been given to me by somebody, and I feel like I'm not doing it justice if I just take it for myself and not really help somebody else out. I feel like part of getting teams together is the part of the chemistry, and part of the team building is my job is to kind of come in and if there's any questions, help these guys, because a lot of guys are young with raw talent here that have a chance to do something in baseball. But if I can give them the tools, or some maybe a little bit of knowledge that could help them out, like, I'm more than willing. And especially when guys really show respect, and they start asking you questions, that they really do care, and it makes you feel good that you're trying to help somebody else out with their career, because I'm kind of through my career. Depending on where the knuckleball goes. If I can really get on it, I really think that I could pitch, and legitimately pitch in the big leagues, and that's only reason why I would still do it. Because as far as hitting, I kind of been through it a lot already, you know, and it's not something that I'm really like, you know, give or take. You know, I love winning games. I love going up there and giving it, you know, an at bat, like grind it out, whether or not I'm getting a hit or not, but like trying to make it on base. And there's no real better feeling than hitting homers, you know. And so
I don't know, but
yes.
I'm sure you're right.
Yes.
We're talking to Saltdogs infielder Dan Johnson in the dugout, getting ready for first pitch in the Saltdogs game, and also on Saltdogs social media. Dan, let's on the second part of this, journey back to your past a little bit, and the hit that you're most famous for right now. It's game 162, 2011. Fans know what happened. You hit it out of the park. Extra innings in the last game, ended up winning. Then the Rays go to the playoffs as the wild card. Red Sox fans cry themselves to sleep that night. What I want to know is what your emotions were like. What were you thinking after you saw that clear the wall and you were rounding the bases?
Well, just before that, like when I saw the location, and that was kind of the pitch that I was sitting on, and the whole time, because I knew that this guy had a really good changeup, and you know, it was, I think 5 or 6 pitches in, and I was just like, you know, when am I going to get this pitch that he's known for? And when I got it, it was kind of in the location that, like, probably 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pull it foul. And there was obviously a higher power working that night, and just to make the timeline, everything the way it worked out, you know, when I hit it, it was like, you know, in my head, I was yelling, like, just stay fair, stay fair, stay fair, stay fair. And at that time, I didn't know I had enough to go out, but I knew, like, at least I was going to give us a single, double, triple, anything I could have done right there. But I was just like, stay fair, stay fair. And then the absolute elation after I hit it was like, that reaction is like true. Like,
it was so pure. I watched it earlier, and you put your fist up in the air.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
It was like, it makes no sense. I don't think I've ever done that in my entire life. But it was like, at that moment, that's what happened. And like, I have no idea how it happened or why it happened that way, but that was truly, like, just like everybody else was probably watching, the reaction that I had was just like, oh my God, it just happened. You know, like, what just happened? But it happened, and let's go, you know, like that type of feeling.
In the moment, it's pure joy. When were you able to gain perspective on it? I mean, you now there's even a chair that's white, and it's the Dan Johnson seat in Tampa, and you won the MLB award too for greatest moments of the season. When were you able to gain perspective on what you did in that at bat?
Oh man, it's probably more so when I have kind of finished the affiliated ball with the hitting part. You know, where you can kind of look back and be like, wow, that really did happen. You know, but other than that, you kind of try to use that to your advantage, as in, like, you know, I can come up in those tough situations, and teams can trust me in those situations, and I'm going to give you a good at bat in, you know, the at bats that are going to determine whether or not you win or lose. You know, at least I'm going to go out there, work my way into a count, maybe give you a good swing, and, you know, give you a chance to tie it up.
Now, that's most people's top memory, but as a kid, I was growing up in Lincoln, so I was watching you at Buck Belcher Field for your 2 seasons with the Huskers. And Buck, that final season, 2001 for you, the first College World Series journey, they packed 5,500 in there. I still don't know how you fit that many people in that ballpark, but I can't remember the specific details of the game. I was too young, but what I remember was the atmosphere, and it was just so electric. What do you remember from that super regional against Rice where you punched the ticket to Omaha?
The atmosphere, it was completely like there's no way to describe, like, the Husker faithful when they come out. It is one of the greatest, like, feelings as a player, like when you have the Husker fans come out. I mean, there are people hanging over Memorial Stadium watching. There's people, they had a big dirt pile out there, and
I remember that one.
They called it Mount Buck. They brought in a bunch of
they're ready to tear it down, and the people were putting their lawn chairs on the pile of dirt.
And the amount of, like, the enthusiasm on every pitch, and the way that they were all into it, and it was just like that whole thing surrounding it, that whole atmosphere, the way that the crowd came out, the way that we were supported. I mean, it was like the whole aspect of being at Buck Belcher, even though we had Haymarket Field over here that was ready to go. It was just truly the atmosphere that is the most memorable part of that whole series.
Now you've wound up full circle. Isn't that's a nice, not a bookend yet because you're not done, but it's good to come back and kind of complete a circle.
It is, and get to use the field that, like, you know, when I was
that
recruited.
you were supposed to go to.
That's what I was supposed to use when I was coming here. But no, it's great. You know, getting the opportunity to come back here, play again. You know, you just been very fortunate, you know, to be able to get the opportunities that I've gotten, and you know, enjoy every moment of it. You know, because you know this game could be done at any time, and you know, I cherish every moment and keep enjoying myself here.
Well, you're not done yet. Let's have a great rest of the season with the Saltdogs. Dan, thanks for taking time.
No problem.
Saltdogs infielder Dan Johnson in the dugout. Thanks for joining us. More baseball on the way next.